Hey guys, Max from Barefoot Inc. Just want to take you through a couple of new models that we have on our website, which I'm absolutely loving testing out at the moment, and they're from Altra, and that is the Superior 4.5 and the Lone Peak 4.5. Now, you know, I'm predominantly a five-finger runner and have been for 12 or 13 years, but you know, there is a time and place where either because you're going long or because you're looking to save the legs if you're training, or simply because you just want to have a little bit more of a kind of relaxed run. You want to have a little more cushion or a little more protection than you possibly would have in the five fingers, which I love running in, but you've got to be absolutely switched on. And certainly when you're fatigued, that comes with the territory. So I've recently done 100 and 160k over the last 8 months, and both of those distances I did in the Lone Peak 4.5 just because I felt like I needed something that was still zero drop. That for me is so important because, of course, anything that's not zero drop and anything that lifts the heel automatically throws your whole body out of whack. So it tilts your pelvis forward, what they call spilling the pelvis. And once the pelvis is tilted forward, what that means is your hammies are already under stretch, your lower back is already preloaded, and because your head naturally needs to come back to upright in order to have good vision, what happens is when your pelvis is tilted, you hyperextend your lower back in order to bring your head back level. And so what that means is before you even started running, you've got tightened hammies, you've got a preloaded lower back, and your whole body is already out of whack, which of course means you're not going to run as effectively as you could. So zero drop is a non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. And I know that people who have been running in stacked shoes need to build their way back down, because it will mean that your Achilles will shorten, because our body is very efficient. So as soon as you're wearing a running shoe that might have 10, 12, 14 mil of stack, which of drop, which means that the differential between the height of the heel and the height of the midfoot could be anything upwards of 10 mil. And of course what that means is your Achilles is therefore shortened in that position, and your body being effective, what that leads to is the Achilles actually reducing in length in order to allow for that body position. So as you go back to zero drop, it does take a little while to lengthen that back out, but it is so worthwhile because there's all sorts of stuff happening further up the chain that I think you don't want to be running with that kind of hindrance to your natural gait and to your natural posture while running. So this is a shoe we just got in. It's the most minimal of the Ultra trail running range, which is obviously why I'm attracted to it, and it's called the Superior 4.5. It's got 21 mil stack. It's really quite a minimal upper. It's very flexible. I mean, you see it's actually super flexible, and it has a good sticky sole. Even though the tread is not overly aggressive, the stickiness of the sole actually makes it a very stable shoe when you're running. It's light, it's 252 grams, and I've been running in it last couple of runs. It feels great. It doesn't feel too chunky. It certainly gives you a good cush, and it feels fast. I mean, for what it is, it's actually a really light shoe. It's a very responsive shoe, and I think this is a great everyday all-round shoe or racing shoe as well, as long as you're into the whole kind of lightweight minimal thing. The other model that we've got in, which I mentioned before, is the Lone Peak. And these are my new Lone Peaks. The last one's done a couple of hut-to-huts and they were looking a bit worse for wear. One thing that I actually really love about both of these models, and the Lone Peak really proved it during hut-to-hut, is I think there was about, I can't remember the number, like 22 or 24 creek and river crossings during the 100 and whatever K. And I was a bit worried about that. These were incredible. I mean, honestly, it actually felt good. I was worried about them leading to chafing, leading to rubbing, being uncomfortable, but actually the water felt great. And I didn't have any problem. I didn't lose any toenails. Nothing went black. It was really an amazing shoe to run in. So this obviously has a little bit more. This has a 25 mil stack as opposed to the 21 in the Superior, and it's got a slightly more aggressive sole. It still has the Max Track rubber, which is maximum traction rubber, so really stable when you're running. Anyone who did hut to hut, or if you've done UTA as well, a lot of uneven rocky terrain where you're kind of clambering over rocks, you want something that really holds well. So this does all of that. The drainage is fantastic, super comfortable shoe. They've actually stripped down the upper a little bit more just to give it again some good flexion, really nice and flexible. And they've tweaked the lacing system. In the previous one, if I did have a little bit of a kind of wish, was that I was able to refit in a little bit more, because obviously it is very roomy. It's got that natural toe box, so depending on the size of your foot, it still left quite a little bit of room, which then created movement. With this, they've definitely done some running changes and improved on that, so it holds your foot that little bit more customized. It's got a more customized fit, which helps if you don't have a massively wide or high volume foot, which I don't. I'm wide but not high volume, so this really helped. And for the longer distance runs, for your anything above, for me, anything above like 50, 60, this is an amazing shoe. You could literally put this on. I've got a friend who's a long-time ultra wearer, and he's a long-time ultra runner, and the one thing he says is this is the only shoe that he can literally take it out the box, put it on, and run 100k with no problem at all. And that's, you can't say fairer than that. It's got to be a good shoe if you can do that. It's really designed for comfort and designed for distance and performance. So the Altra Lone Peak 4.5 and the Superior 4.5, we got both now in stock. And yeah, if you haven't tried them, they're both zero drop, and both fantastic options for those looking for a natural running position and a nice, flexible, lightweight shoe, but also some protection and grip as well.